Welcome to the special meeting of the Otero County Commission on May 23rd, 2024. I'd like to call this meeting to order and have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Markworth.
Here.
Commissioner Matherly.
Here.
Commissioner Barella.
Here. And can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, under new business, request approval of resolution number 5-23-24/112-52 fiscal year 2024-2025 interim budget adoption.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
As you can see, our cash balances do look a lot better. Having an additional month of expenses and revenues to do projections has really helped a lot. Also with some of the cuts that were made and the corrections that we made to the detention salaries, that made a huge difference. There's a couple things that I think we still need to discuss. One of them is the workstations and wall removal for the treasurer's office. And the other is there was a position for the rifle range that I don't think was ever decided upon. It was the chief range safety officer. Those are the only two items that I'm aware of. There might be more that you want to discuss, and that's up to you.
I thought we said no to the range.
I thought we did too. I'm looking. Rifle range. Oh, no, I have it as undecided.
Undecided?
Uh-huh.
So if we use that one number that Trent just brought you in, there'll have to be an adjustment on the treasurer's.
Yes, it would be a reduction. Yeah.
I'm going to say yes on the rifle range because this has become an area attraction. And I think we will get that back in people visiting our area and travel through. So that's which direction I'm leaning for that.
I agree. I would go with that. What say you?
I'm good.
Okay, so we'll leave that in.
So,
And then I did read about your desks. I just thought it was a different department when I was texting you the other day. So now that I know which department, but we already had approved the desks in the past. So we're discussing your windows now.
I don't know if you're aware, Laura, that I asked Trent to come over and maybe take it a little different route. So we just got that number in this morning, so it came in a little bit lower. What it is, instead of removing that one wall and putting the new wall in, it's infilling the, pulling all your stuff out now, and you have your holes. It'll be framing in those new holes, putting in a new counter and new glass, and then that way you can put your new furniture in.
So it still is extending that window?
There'll be the window still there.
No, we'll extend the window.
No, we're not gonna do that where that other, you know, where it was gonna be an L-shaped deal?
Yeah, I don't need that part, that's fine.
Yeah, so what it's gonna do is open up, we have to get Trent in here to explain that a little more, but where your existing windows are, where the desks are built in through the hole, all that'll be removed. That will be infilled in, and then there'll be a new counter there with the window and stuff, new glass and stuff above.
Okay, so can I show you? Sorry, I'm Amanda. I work in the treasurer's office. I didn't introduce myself. Can I show you from where I sit? I took a picture just so you can see where I sit and how that obstruction is an issue.
Sure. Can you call Trent in, Pamela?
Can you join us, please?
I don't have no problem seeing you.
Sorry.
I'm trying to see which one. So this is where I sit. This is me up close, and that's, yep. You can go through all those if you'd like. That is what I'm seeing every day.
So the door's over there on
So-
the left.
You can't even see the front door. If people are walking through the main front door, I have no view of who's coming through. We have this mirror here, but if I'm dealing with somebody, I cannot see unless I'm, let
Their
me
heads
turn.
block it, because their
Let me
head
turn.
blocks the mirror.
And then sometimes people hit it and it's all out of whack and I've got to go back and fix it. This is why that opening all of that up is really important.
Right there where the clock is where she's talking about, that little bump out, where the cross is and that pink paper.
Mhm.
Want to open all that up because she cannot see. And then if Valerie is, say, at an appointment and Amanda's at lunch and it's Rachel and I in the back and someone walks in, it seems like they always stand right there. And we cannot see them. We have bells, as like a little wind chime type bell that hits when they open, and sometimes we hear it, sometimes we don't. But mainly it's for Amanda. Whenever I was at the front doing her job, it was very difficult, and you have to yell at people, they can't hear you through the glass. I can help you at 2, I can help you at 2, they don't come down. You have to wind up sticking your hand out the little hole and like, over here.
And I have other pictures there that I was showing, like the whole structure. This is Valerie where her cash drawer is hitting her knees, but of course you said that was already going to be implemented in the
Right where that scratch drawer is, her cash drawer.
Trent, what do we have going on right there?
So
This is as you're walking in, I'm sorry, excuse me. This is as you're walking in and you have no visual of me until you come around.
Well, the good thing on this is just a budget number. This is not what the actual, once we price this out, because I'll have to get 3 prices on it, I can do that, cutting that out, and enlarging it as an option on there, just to, if the price comes in low enough, we could definitely make it happen.
Well, the thing is, if you're gonna do a partial, it's something that's gonna have to be fixed in the future. So it's a Band-Aid and it's gonna be a waste of money because that needs to be fixed.
If you open that up like you're wanting to do, to where you can see all the way through, that's gonna be a major redesign, because that's a whole structural deal where it comes across, you're gonna have to completely redo all that.
Well, there's electrical that has to be rerouted, data that has to be reran. That's why the price was elevated with adding that in there.
If you'll go to the other pictures, you can see all of our wiring that we have exposed right now. So either way, I believe that it needs to be taken care of.
Well, at the current price, it is adding some electrical because of so many extension cords and things that are routed in there now, because the minimal electrical, we are still adding some electrical
Okay.
to accommodate all the equipment.
So if you're talking about data cords and stuff like that, the IT guys should be coming and they can run you a wire mold, they can get that taken care of.
We've talked to them about it. They said this is the best they could do.
So this
This
is
is
the
what her
wire
desk
that
looks
you see
like.
on Valerie's.
And that right there is that guy right there.
We've talked to them about it.
I know when we were setting up the phones, we had all that. And then that's when I think Rachel showed us how the tables were all,
Yeah, because the tables are very, all the desks are so bad. They don't have holes in them. They're not reproducible. We looked it up. These were bought in 1989.
Videos that are so here.
So you can't just cut out that centerpiece? It's structural, you think?
It's part of
Well,
the
you got a
desk.
column right there. In that wall, there's a deal that sticks out, which is a metal steel column, which everything comes up. So you'd have to completely redo the ceiling, because you got 2 separate ceilings where a wall comes down. So that's gonna be, you're getting into a very major deal if you wanted to open that all up, like a complete opening, except for that column's still gonna be there. You can't take that out.
Right. I
Well, and
understand.
that's understood. That's why I thought if that window's just straight across there, then that would at least give that visual where I can see if somebody's walking in or they can see me.
Now, we'd have to look at it, but we may be able to frame in a window, come in and do an internal framing inside, just open that up to where where you can view through, instead of taking that whole wall and everything out. You don't wanna take the whole wall out, because then what are you gonna have?
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what,
No, yeah, that's all I'm saying, is I think that there needs to be some kind of window or something there so that obstruction is handled, like it's not safe. We have people who come through, we have a lot of homeless people that are in our building. They come knocking at our windows,
Yelling.
through the alley,
yelling in our office.
Yelling in
taking
our
all our
office.
business cards.
Could I make a suggestion? You know, even, I think it would help for safety as well, is maybe a camera at the end of the hallway in that lobby facing the door. And then something you could monitor on your computers to see when somebody comes in, but you also have video if somebody's trying to do something stupid also.
Yeah, well, we would try to get that too.
Like a $200 camera, not a $2,000 camera. I'm about done with these $2,000 cameras. I just bought three of them, 3 cameras for $139, just so you know.
The clerk's office did do that in their area, and they have a large monitor placed where everybody in their office can see who walks in. Because it's pointed at the doors. And they also have recording capabilities. If there's an incident, it's recorded if something happens. And they purchased that. We
So,
did the installation.
Is that on a different screen?
Yes,
They
they
did
have a
the-
separate monitor in the middle of their office so that everybody sitting in there can see it.
That's what I use, because my office is in upstairs and I don't get to see the customers, but I have a TV screen and I can see everything that's happening.
And the assessor's office has a chime that rings when somebody opens the door, so they're alerted that somebody's walking in.
So Classic Builders had come back in and gave a new quote for, well, first it was a $31,000, that was with the extra wall, making it mill shape.
Mhm.
They came in earlier this week, and that was the quote for 23, just to frame out that window. What was that one?
It's to remove that furniture, infill walls in both of those holes, new glass that's gonna be, it'll have a tempered and it'll have aluminum frames around it for safety. And that's to add some additional electrical and additional data ports to accommodate the furniture on the inside.
So what if we did that and then the camera? It didn't frame out that window. Only thing is that it doesn't help people see.
To see me.
To see you.
Right.
But you'll know they're there.
Will y'all's furniture
But we always
be in
know-
a
we know
different
they're there now.
configuration
She does,
with
I
the
don't.
wall? I mean, will your new furniture be where you can actually walk up to the window to see people? 'Cause
Well, I
as
don't even
now,
think
you're
we've gotten
reaching
that
over
far
your
to
desk
look.
and everything.
And
to-
that was the other thing, I mean, that, the depth in there, I mean, I'm short, I know I'm fun size, but it's hard for me to, get through there.
They all just got it.
That'll make it a
You
little
know?
easier with a desk mounted in right there to be able to get up closer to the window.
I did go sit in there, and it was difficult for me to reach it.
Oh, I can imagine, and you've got the height and, why don't we leave the $36,000 one? The better location for you is gonna be when you walk in the door to the treasurer's office, if you're straight there. You have one there and one there. You understand what I'm saying?
Are you talking about that L, when they were talking about?
The little L-shaped deal, to put a station right there. I think you're gonna eliminate all the problems of being able to see. You're shaking your head no.
It's the same type of setup in the treasurer's office. I don't see the extra cost for a camera or a chime of some sort won't alert you guys if somebody's coming in, or it's not that big of a space. Even bells on the door,
We have bells on the door.
and you still don't know if somebody's coming in.
Well, when we're in tax season, I mean, I'm not checking everybody that's coming through. You know what I mean? We're busy.
If they
So
pile
if
up in
somebody
there.
is, they pile up in there. I wanna be able to see everybody that's in there. I have an issue with security. And
I mean,
so
you
if
can't-
somebody's gonna come in and if they're at Valerie's desk, she's gonna probably hit her panic button should something happen. And I'm not gonna know what's going on because she's trying to stay calm so that nobody's gonna attack her. You
And
see what I'm
she can't
saying?
see.
And I can't see anything because there's an obstruction.
Right, and I understand the concern for that, but a camera is gonna catch what's going on because the action's gonna happen if it's gonna happen. I mean,
Right.
response,
I understand that.
response time is gonna be what response time is to somebody being there. And it's
I
a
understand
public
that.
building, so I don't know how we stop influx of traffic or people piling up in there.
And we're not. I mean,
And
that's just
closing
not
off
gonna happen.
closing
already
off
is
that
control.
area is only gonna create more people in that lobby area. Cause it's gonna make it even smaller.
So Gerald, when you're talking about putting a window at the L, are you talking about in the hallway, adding a window?
Right,
So
right
there's
now,
3 windows, and we would turn that last window this way, pull the wall
Oh.
that
Across the
faces
hall.
the
So on the
door.
east side is what you're talking about, adding another window there and putting a station at the end of that hallway.
Mhm.
so you have, right now, these, the double doors, the glass doors when you come in and come into their office. The first office, little port is right there, which she can see what she's talking about if she hit the panic button. The wall that she was showing is right here where that column sticks out here like that. What we were going to do is come over and then put another wall right here and then make another station right here, which would be, move her around to where she can see straight in and then this one can see straight in.
I understand. Okay.
That was the original, what we talked about. So if we leave the budget money that's in, it would give you an option, the 36,000 or whatever it is now, if I remember right, is that what?
I thought it was 31. But I'm still need.
I think it was 40 is what I had scratched out.
Didn't I just see?
It was 40,
Yeah.
40,250, that includes 4,000 for the desks.
Yes.
So if we leave, yeah, it'd be 40,000. That's 2 new computers. The 4,000 is for computers and monitors. The other is the workstations and the wall removal. So if we leave that at the 36, which includes the desk and the remodel, then what that's gonna do is let you remodel what you can with that money.
Okay.
So you can get you're gonna have to work and try to get the best buy for your dollar. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Because the other one we got was just gonna be, what'd you say, it was
23.5.
23,
Without desks.
and then you're still gonna have to add the desk.
The
and-
total with desk was 28, about.
So, I mean, that's about 10,000 difference, but I understand your point. I really do. That whole little setup in your office, the assessors and the clerks, they're a little more wide open straight where they have little better visual and stuff. I understand the wall where you sit. With that beam right there, it's a bad situation all the way around, unless you do like put that other wall in and move you around the corner where you can look straight to the glass doors. If you're wanting to see everything that's happening. That puts you like almost into the main general, flow of everything, but it may give us enough money to open that other wall up a little bit where you could see to the column or something
Right.
and leave you where you're at.
And that I would be fine with. I would just, it's bothersome. It really is.
So if they would open it up to the column and didn't mess with the column, that's still doable.
It could. You'd have to put a header in. It'd be like making you opening that from there to there and then try to do some, put a header across and a little, I mean, it can be done.
Would that help you?
Yes.
That would still help?
Oh, absolutely.
Commissioners, I took a look at my budget and I found 50 that I would feel okay with cutting out. So you can put that there and then that gives enough cushion to weigh all these options and figure out which one works best.
You guys need to take him to lunch.
I know, thank you, Arby.
Okay, so
So that means we don't need
leave,
to add
leave
it
the
to
number in there
budget.
that's there right now?
No, we-
Is the 36,252?
I would say so. And I
Trent,
can-
what are you
and I
thinking
can
on
give
that?
Julianne the line items to reduce on mine.
I think that's a safe number. Budgetary numbers are always kind of high anyways. For example, a couple of years ago when we redid the restrooms at the Flickinger, the budget number was 50,000. We did the project for 36. And so budget numbers tend to be a little high, but it's to be able to budget and be safe by the time we're able to actually do the work.
I would still try to get a camera in that, this whole little deal,
I like that idea also. I mean,
Yeah,
just
I think I
for,
have enough in my budget this year.
just for to have
Seriously?
this.
Just bought 3, $139. They're supposed to be here today. It's ZMODO. Comes with a little everything.
So if it's coming out of your budget, then that's gonna, all this is gonna completely come out of this, because we've already got the money coming from somewhere else. So yay.
Yay. Mhm.
So should we just put on there 50 from the legal department? Is that what we're gonna do? Up to 50, I mean, they
Right,
don't necessarily
I'll
have to.
get with RB and find the line items, and we'll shift that money over to cover the cost of this.
Okay.
All right.
And then I have a question. I went through the treasurer's report and kind of did some rough numbers on the interest that you've earned for the year, and I think it's about 3.2.
About, yeah.
I was wanting to allocate 500,000 of that per year for savings, to use as hopefully what is my word? Housing, a house, so we can start working on a housing program and a housing plan for the county.
That in between you guys.
Yeah.
That money all goes, I mean, it goes to the general fund and then it's allocated into all the other funds, like the ones that receive interest. So that's something you all would have to budget.
Okay, so that's okay to suggest, I talked to Julianne and to make sure we weren't gonna interfere with any spending or take away money from anywhere or something like that. And it seems like it's doable. We put this in savings for, as we develop a housing plan.
I imagine it would have to be an action item. I don't think something you could just
You
discuss.
don't put it in the budget,
I don't know.
you allocate that in the budget now, that's why I was bringing that up. That's why I assumed this. I wanna put $500,000 a year into savings.
Well, I mean, we can do it this year. You can't commit it for future commissioners to do, but you can do it for this year. And then next year revisit it to see if you want to keep it in there. Yeah.
Okay, yep. Well, I'd like to do that. Add the 500 for savings and form that account and see what we can do with it.
So, 500,000 that is going from interest into the general fund, you want me to move into a specified savings account?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that right? Do we need to do any kind of a resolution for saving that money?
Yeah, I'd have to ask Julianne.
That I don't know. As far as, I would imagine, and Laura would know, would we need to open another account, like just an actual savings account?
I would imagine. Unless you just can make it fund for it and you just have that money in a pool in that fund.
We could do that too.
Could it be one that we put in an account that allows it to still gain interest?
All right.
Oh, okay.
so I'm saying, putting in a savings, the interest rate on that's gonna be.
Yeah, savings would probably be that case. It'd probably be better just to allocate that money into a different fund and leave it in the investment pool that I have it in. And you would have that 500 there. You could make it earn interest off of the interest allocation and just start saving it that way.
Yep, that's exactly what I said, wanted.
All right, so that would be Julianne, we need to, make a new fund.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
can
I
do
would
that.
too,
We
obviously.
can decide how we're gonna do that. Whether we make, I don't know if we wanna make it a new department in the general fund, or if we want a completely separate fund. We can think about that. We've got a little time before July
And when are you
1st.
wanting to start? You want to take
I wanted to-
500,000 now, or just as interest comes in, build it up?
I would like to have in savings by the next budget, 500,000, so that we could reallocate another 500,000 for the next budget year.
So over the year, we would be growing it to 500,000 by the end of,
Whatever's easiest, yes. It needs to grow to at least 2 million before we'll be able to do anything with it.
And what are you gonna do with it?
Housing, I want to work on a housing plan.
Like building
Yes,
housing? The county
not a
building housing?
department, not county, but the incentives, I'm going to copy what other counties are doing and incentives on bringing housing in.
Food for thought.
And the money's there, so if the plan, I mean, they say that the plan will lead you off a cliff and you have to rewrite the plan and all that, so I'm thinking 4 years, we should have the plan perfected and be able to actually start a housing project. That's my goal to work on. And we're gonna have some kind of incentive money, some matching money or something like that in order to bring in all these housing. And it's a hand up, not a handout for these people. What this is to target the workforce, to bring in employees that are in the middle gap of income levels, so they have affordability, near school, all of that. Do we need a vote on that, or?
It's not an action item, you can't.
Okay. Do we have to change it in the budget?
The budget adjustment can be made by Julianne, just like you're directing to create a new position and fund a truck, it's the same thing.
Okay,
Staff can make that adjustment and include it in final numbers if it were needed.
okay.
But if it's there, it doesn't sound like it is. I had one other thing under capital outlay, under animal shelter. I got an updated number and I did send it to you for the feasibility study. So it's currently says in here 70,000, we need to change that to 37,000. That is worst case if the city doesn't pay their half.
Thank you.
Yeah. What did it change to?
37,000. And I believe I emailed it to you Monday.
Yep.
So they changed that to,
Thank you.
30, thank you.
from the 70 to 37.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pamela, I have a question about the city paying half. Would that be something where the county would pay for it up front and then bill the city for that?
We don't know, they haven't even agreed to pay their half
Okay.
yet, so that would be determined at
Okay.
that time.
Yes, they have agreed.
Okay, I haven't heard from them.
That's
Have
why
you?
I said to CC the mayor.
Well, she emailed me and said they're gonna look at it, that's all she told me.
Okay.
She didn't tell me they were.
So Julianne, one more question to you. Last year, we started on the hold harmless deal for the ditch fund.
From
I
that
don't remember
316
what we
first
called
receipts
it, but-
tax. We were to, I think that's where you wanted to build up some money for that? Is that right?
Yes. Where is that in here? I don't,
Actually, it's not, because at this point, it hasn't been, I haven't set up a separate line item for that. That would be something that would likely be in the road department. It would have to be through a transfer, but I can do that. And we can use that 3/16. Right now, I'm projecting that 3/16 should bring in about $2.3 million next year. So I can allocate a portion of that as a transfer into the road fund specifically for that. So I'll have to revisit what we had last year for the cost of that ditch crew. I think it was pretty expensive.
But you implemented it being implemented right now, it's collecting, right?
It just started in March. We've just started collecting that money now, yes.
Okay, because I thought we did this a year ago.
We did, but it didn't go into effect until January, and then there's a 2-month delay. January is the month it was effective, which means that's when the businesses start to collect it. The following month, February, is when they submit their reports and their remittance of gross receipts tax to the state. The month after that is when the state then distributes it to all the entities that receive it. So our first distribution was in March. So we're only going to have 4 months of revenue in fiscal year '24. We'll have a full year next year in '25.
So it's going to be another year to two before we can even start this program.
It'll take a couple years to get, I mean, I'm expecting about $2.3 million next year total. And approximately a little over 600,000 or so for this year is what I'm expecting.
Okay, so I have two more on this one, your spreadsheet one.
Yes.
On your community services, we're starting at beginning balance with $41 and
Yep.
can you,
So I usually just budget enough to cover the total balance of what we budget for, what the awards are for. And that $41 is probably just, an anomaly. It's from a projection. So essentially, you can assume that we're going to begin with $0 because all the awards from the prior year have been paid out, right? And so then I budget for the current year's awards and budget for them to be all paid out as well.
so you're budgeting the 1.3 for the new year?
Yes.
Okay. And then on the cannabis regulations,
Yes.
what are we predicting for, I know it's hard to predict, but
Revenue, I'm expecting around 60,000. We really don't get that much. It's just the excise tax. Any gross receipts tax we receive from that, I think I've mentioned before, it's aggregated into retail trade. So it's going to be allocated, across the general fund, across all the funds that receive gross receipts tax. Because there's no way to distinguish how much that is. The excise tax is something completely different. It's additional tax that they have to pay. And currently we're getting maybe $3,000, $2,500 to $3,500 per month with that. We're not getting that much because remember, we can only get the excise tax in the outlying areas. We cannot receive it from the incorporated Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, and Tularosa.
one of the reasons why I'm asking you, when we were in Chaparral last week, there was a news reporter there, and we were talking, and somebody asked me what the county got off the revenue. And I told them last year I thought it was like 55,000 or something.
That's probably about right. Yeah.
And so I was contacted by another El Paso News, wants to talk to me on why it's so little. I'm like, you're talking to the wrong person on that. But, so that's why I'm just trying to see what you got there.
Need more cannabis shops in Chaparral.
No, I don't think so. They got their share of them right now.
You've added in the comments under the interim budget for the administration, the computers and purchased for fiscal year '24. So you've already purchased
We had
them?
money.
Yes.
Julianne contacted me and said we were gonna have some extra money.
We had a purchase order for training that was set up about a year or so ago. Originally, we thought it was going to cost about $12,000. We ended up That particular training we ended up not doing. We did it through another format, which is, it's called PACE training, PACE. Don't ask me what the acronym stands for, but it's through Tyler, and we get 6 days of training per year to use for whichever department needs it the most. So we were able to get some of that, and it was at a reduced cost. And so we still had, actually, we did set up another training so that Pablo, we can get the grants set up through the Tyler software, because right now it's not. We have to implement that, and it's going to be somewhat not complicated, but we have to make sure it integrates with our jumbo ledger, and there's a lot to it. It's not just a training, it's an actual implementation. So we're using that $12,000 for that implementation, and then we had money left over to just pay for some of those smaller minor capital outlay items, the printers and computers this year, so that takes it out of the budget for next year.
Good.
Good.
So Trent came talk to you this morning about the fairgrounds.
Yes.
Dude, is that a workable solution deal?
They should be able to get the work done themselves so that we don't have to do, the Davis-Bacon wages, and because that would increase the cost quite a bit
Right.
if the county had to do the project. The way the community service grants or awards are set up, the entity has to expend the funds first, and then they submit to us for reimbursement. So they would be the ones to handle, contract with anyone to do that work. And then they will submit to us for reimbursement once they've received the invoices and paid them.
You talking about the concession stand?
Yes.
There?
It was turning into a big mess. If we were trying to do it, it was like gonna double more money than what they were asking for, so.
So 200,000 is still good.
It was 240, I believe.
Yeah.
Is what was approved.
And then what we did was, that was for the concession stand, the horse pens, I believe the sound system or
Yeah, I think
cameras
the
or
only thing
something.
that was cut was the skid steer.
Yeah.
83,000 or so.
But if they hire all that out themselves, they should be able to get in. They won't have to pay that high dollar wages.
So it's in here as 200,000. I don't see the cameras and everything.
If you look
I mean, the
in
sound
the
system.
book, if you still
Oh,
have the
okay,
community
yeah.
services grant.
Yeah, I have it, okay.
Yeah.
So we don't
For
need
the
to change.
fairgrounds, they do split it out. They're on page 163. They had to split out 84,861 for the skid steer. That was not approved. The sound system, 13,629. Steel pipe and tin for the horse stalls, 11,500. And then the remodel for the kitchen was 200,000.
So on this page where it says interim budget, the only thing is here is the 200,000.
This is for facility maintenance, is that what you, for the roof coating? Yeah. They took that put that over into Eric's department.
Oh, the rest of it is in Eric's. Got it,
Oh,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
Are you talking for the Flickinger or?
No,
the
for
fairgrounds.
for the fairgrounds, the roofing, we put over into Eric's, which is facility
I
maintenance.
don't recall putting anything to Eric's budget
Yeah,
for
it's
the
listed
fairground.
here on your sheet.
Yeah,
Metal roof coating at Fairgrounds Wade Building, $200,000.
Oh.
Under buildings and grounds.
the same as what we did with the Flickinger concession stand.
That's, oh, I see, yes, you're right. You're right, that's separate though, that's
Yeah,
completely different
that's-
from the community
Okay.
services.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, sorry about that.
So because they're gonna hire their own contractor, does it still stay under Eric's or does it?
No, it goes under the community services line item it's a separate contract.
So are we taking this $200,000 out?
It's not listed under facilities management, except for the roof is for 200,000.
Isn't that what they were talking about doing, their own contractor?
No,
No.
that's
No,
the
that's for the
concession
concession
stand,
stand.
over
Okay.
by the rodeo arena.
Okay.
So Mark, I don't know if you were here whenever, but we voted yes on the chief range deal. So,
He's like, I'm
Okay.
out.
oh,
You got good news?
I brought more pens, so I mean, there's.
All right.
Look at all these beautiful colors.
Yes.
I got more pens, even though they're going up in price, but they're still good pens for under $1.
You still wanna talk about that chief range guy? Is
Oh,
that?
no, I wanna
I
give you
wonder
guys
if
just
they
an
put
update.
less ink in there, like they put less bread in the package, and they
If
put less
The
ink
candy
in the
bars are
tin
smaller.
I don't know, listen, they're up to 89 cents, but they're still worth it.
with less ink.
So last month you had asked me about revenue and I didn't have that data. So I wanted to just come up and thank you for giving me that chief range safety officer, because that's going to help with the projected growth of the department, which is really a recreation department. So I pulled some numbers up, and going back to 21 to 2022, that year we had 9,265 users for that 1 year period, fiscal year. And our total was, revenue was 72,377 and some pennies. So, I mean, that's a good year, because prior to that, it was like 66,000, so there's continued growth. And we're having about 400 to 500 additional people every year coming to the range and using it, which is very nice. For this year, which isn't done yet, we still have 1 month and 11 days, I'm already up to 10,455 people. So, I mean, that's impressive. I mean, it's like almost 1,000 people. So I'm expecting that this number will grow. Not new people, but just people coming in the range. I'll probably hit 11,000 by the end of the next month. The revenue, though, is at $83,376. So we have upward trajectory here, and that's my goal, is to continue to do this. I'm thinking that I may hit 90,000 when at the end of the year. Now, when I get to 100,000, I'm going to be banging on the desk for that skid steer. So we're talking about that.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
Little humor, but I mean, this is good, because, you know, and you got the email I sent you about the people from England coming out. With our Facebook and social media, getting out on the radio, our last Women on Target, we do it twice a year, it sold out 3 weeks prior to the event. It has never done that, and I actually got a phone call while I was taking off to go skiing from a local radio station here that had seen the Facebook post that the mayor of Alamogordo had put on her Facebook page. So it bounced around, and I sat on the side of the road. I wasn't driving on the phone. I sat on there and talked about the Women on Target stuff. So we're looking at upward trajectory. We're also beginning to conduct some of our own classes, like we have a night shoot class that we put on. But these are my part-time employees who are taking on extra tasks to help generate revenue and promote goodwill. And so, you know, that's my objective. Obviously, shooting safety is a primary thing, but to make this an attraction and a recreational type setup. After the UK couple got a hold of me, a German couple contacted me. He was here with the Luftwaffe, and now his kids are grown up and they're coming back to visit, and guess what they would like to do? So I'm making arrangements so that they can come out and shoot some guns and have some fun, because they can't do that in their country. I did have some Germans show up a month ago. They did not want to shoot. They just wanted a tour of the range. I thought that was very strange, so I gave them some ammo cases to take home with them. I did not think about them going through German customs
Oh dear.
and having a 50 cal casing. So I did not give them my phone number, so they will not be calling me. But they shouldn't have any problems. But this goes to show you that, you know, the recreation department is going to be an attraction that will help generate revenue to pay for itself. But, you know, the goal here is to increase the size, increase what we have to offer for the community, and bring more money back into the community, like we will in October, when we will have 120 to probably 180 individuals descend upon the range for that state level pistol competition match. So I hope to have some numbers in October, probably more like November or December, that shows what kind of economic boost came back to the community. And I'm working with some of the local businesses here to see if we can create some vouchers on paper that the participants can take to the stores, restaurants mostly, and that I can collect and try to do some accurate data collection so that I'm not pulling numbers out of my hat, so to speak, but I have legit info. So I want to thank you for allowing me to expand. Bringing on this chief range safety officer position is going to probably double our business.
Well, Mark, got to give you kudos for all the improvements. You're $90,000 on what you deal, but you're still got a long ways to go to ever break even on this deal.
Oh, yeah.
So you're here.
I'm getting there. I'm getting
Keep climbing.
And I really doubt that due to our geographic situation here, that the range will ever break even to where through the cash register, the revenues will exceed what the costs are for running it. And that's due to the fact that 85% of this land around here is government-owned, BLM, National Forest. So instead of coming to the range and buying some of the Klondike ice cream bars that I have there, they can just go out to Dry Canyon and shoot. Most individuals who've been to Dry Canyon when it's busy usually come back to the range and stop going to Dry Canyon because it's like the Wild West. It's like Tombstone out there.
It is a little wild.
So I do have that hurdle to jump through. So I think by having name brand people come to the range, conduct top-notch classes, where the money's going to come into the community is through the back door. Unfortunately, I wish the county would get more money out of this, but it's going to go to all the businesses, it's going to go to their employees, it's going to feed the community. And that is a number that it's going to be very difficult for me to come in and say definitively, Gerald, I brought $500,000 in. I can only kind of speculate on some of that. So I try to speculate on the low end of that spectrum to say, it'd be nice to bring in 500,000, but probably realistically 200. So thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And when I get to 100,000, we'll be having another discussion. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.
You have anything else on the budget?
Nina, I see you sitting out there. You have any questions? You just
making sure, listening.
I'm glad you're okay.
All right.
So you're gonna do the move on the,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna include Mark's guy, and then you're reducing that 70,000 on the animal deal to 37,000. You were making adjustments with Nina on her empty
Yes.
positions. What did that,
That saved almost $2 million.
really?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we ready to vote on this?
Yep,
Any
I'm ready.
more questions?
I think that's all the questions I had.
Okay, all right, I make a motion for the approval of resolution number 5-23-24/112-52, fiscal year 2024-2025 interim budget adoption, 113th year.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Number 2, request approval of revised agreement between Otero County and Hinkle and Landers PC to add component unit Tularosa Basin Regional Dispatch Authority to the FY24 financial audit contract.
So I have just one question, Julianne, on that. Does this need to be put into their budget?
I'm going to do that,
Okay.
yes. So it's an additional 10,000 plus gross receipts tax. And I mean, essentially, that'll be part of the expenses that will be submitted to the city Although I don't know if their board is gonna have to approve the additional 10,000. If not, it's just gonna be a portion that we'll end up probably having to cover through the general fund because we pay a little over half of their budget since the city chose to only pay 1 million for fiscal year '25. We're having to cover the rest of it. So, but yes, that expense is actually going to be in their budget for the audit.
Okay.
It was something that the auditors did not charge us for last year. Last year was the very first year really of TVRDA getting up and running. And this year, unfortunately, we didn't have the discussion about it. He didn't think about it, Farley from Hinkle and Landers, until after you'd already approved the original contract. And so I had to contact the state auditor and amend the agreement so that we could add that 10,000. And everybody was fine with that. So.
Any questions? No? Good, all right. Okay, I make a motion for the approval of a revised agreement between Otero County and Hinkle and Landers PC to add component unit to Tularosa Basin Regional Dispatch Authority to FY '24 financial audit contract.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, number 3, request approval of memorandum of understanding between Otero County and New Mexico Department of Public Safety, Sunland Park Police Department, and Hatch Police Department for the purpose of providing enhanced law enforcement services. I don't have any questions on it. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry.
Yep, I don't have any questions.
Have any questions?
Is Alamogordo included in this?
I haven't even seen it, so I have no idea.
No, it's just, it's Hatch, Sunland Park. I think
It's
that's
the operations.
State-
authority
state
grant.
police.
Yes,
Well,
it's
who's-
Stone Garden.
That's,
Who's in the New Mexico Department of Safety then?
That's state police.
State Police.
That's those three?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why I was wondering if
Alamogordo's not included
Mhm.
in the agreement.
Any questions?
Nope.
Any more questions? Anything? All right. I make a motion for the approval of a memorandum of understanding between Otero County and New Mexico Department of Public Safety, Sunland Park Police Department, and Hatch Police Department for the purpose of providing enhanced law enforcement services.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, does anybody have anything else?
You just need to sign stuff before you
Okay,
leave.
all right. We are adjourned. Dang, I was-